Hello viewers, welcome to our lecture series on Indian ethos in management, and in today's lecture I am going to tell you about the intellectual foundations of Indian model. Now when we talk about the Indian model of management, and we have already understood the essence of Indian style of management, Indian school of management, it is very much necessary to understand the intellectual foundations of the Indian model. And the intellectual foundations of the Indian model, it can be traced to three fundamental theories from Indian scriptures. If we cast our eyes to the Indian scriptures, we find that there are three fundamental theories to understand the Indian perspective or the foundation of Indian model. The first one is the Panch Koshas theory, where we talk about the Panch Kosha and the way it offers energy to us. The second is the Purusharth theory, and the last one is the theory of gunas, or what you call as gun theory, the theory of merits. So these three are basically regarded as the fundamental theories from Indian scriptures, and I'm going to tell you in brief what is this Panch Kosha theory, what is Purusharth theory, and what is theory of gunas. The essential aspect of these three are presented here, and by combining these three theories we can arrive at the foundational basis of the Indian model. We need to combine these three theories if we really wish to understand the foundational basis of the Indian model, which is very strong and very solid. The Panch Kosha theory, it is basically providing us a framework for holistic self-development, because unless we are situated in self, we cannot call ourselves to be swasth, or what you call as healthy. Because when we ask somebody that whether a person is healthy or not, and if we translate the word healthy in Hindi, we call it swasth, which means swa mein sthit hona, arthat, which means that you are established, you are situated in your self. So self-development is very much necessary for the overall development, or what you call as the holistic development of any organization. And this Panch Kosha theory, it identifies 5 levels of self-development. So you can basically actuate yourself at which level you are finding yourself, whether you are at the first level of your self-development, or you are basically finding yourself to be somewhere around 4th or 5th level of self-development. The first one is the physical one, which talks about the physical development. The second one is psychological. Third one is what we call as mentological. Fourth one is intellectual. And when we talk about these 5 levels, the fifth one is the spiritual one, which is consistent with and these 5 levels are basically consistent with, we call as Annamay Kosh, which represents the physical growth. Annamay, where we talk about the physical growth of our human body, and that is why it is being indicated by the Ann, the grains, food grains which we are taking, that is called Annamay Kosh. The second one represents the psychological growth, psychological development of us as a human being, and that is why we call it as Pranamay Kosh. The next one is mentological, and that is why we call it Manomay Kosh. And after that we have intellectual one, which is called as Jnanmay Kosh, and eventually we have Anandmay Kosh. So whether I'm into Jnanmay Kosh, or I'm at a level where I'm feeling that bliss, I'm enjoying that level where I can say that my body or myself is situated in Anandamay Kosh. So these are the 5 levels of self-development. And my dear learners, we all should understand, at times the corporate top shots, they feel that what is the point of talking about these self-development levels and integrating it to the management. See, for that we need to understand that it is a human being who is actually activating or making all the sources dynamic. All the static sources are becoming dynamic because of human touch. It is the human being who is going to make everything workable. So whether you have material, you have machine, you have methods, you have money, but if you don't have the manpower, how would you run a business? So for that you need a human being, you need human resources, and human resources means human being, and for human being we need to understand their self-development at what level they are. and then only you can find that at whatever level they are, whichever need is prominent, if you satisfy that, the person will automatically be motivated to work for the organization, for the achievement of goals of the organization. So this Panchakosha theory is basically telling us about the level of growth, the level of self-development which we are witnessing as a human being, which starts from the Annamay Kosh to Pranamay, then Manomay, Gyanmay, and eventually it talks about the Anandamay Kosh. So these Panch Koshas, or what you call as 5 levels of self-development, they indicates the level at which we are working as a human being, the level at which we are enjoying our own routine activities. There is another model called BMS model of human beings, and it provides foundation for the idea of Panchamukhi Vikas, or fivefold holistic development, what you call. If we translate it in English, we call it fivefold holistic development. And this, which is basically physical, practical, aesthetic, moral, and intellectual at the level of an individual or at the level of a person. If we talk, the Panchkosha theory, which is it broadly corresponds to the body, mind, and spirit model, which we call as BMS model of human beings. Body, mind, and spirit. And here we feel that we find that Annamay Kosh corresponds to body, Manomay and Gyanmay Kosh correspond to mind, and Anandmay Kosh to spirit. So it is another representation of the same, that is Panchakosha theory, where we talk about the Panch Koshas, and here in BMS model we are actually clubbing some of the levels of self-development into one, and then we call it body, mind, and spirit, where body is representing Annamay Kosh, then we have Manomay, we have Gyanmay, and eventually we have the Anandamay Kosh. So this BMS model of human being also gives us an idea about the significance, the importance of this Panchakosha theory, and it also corresponds to the MMC. There is another representation of the same theory in the name of matter, mind, consciousness view of reality, where we talk about matter, mind, and consciousness. And it may also be indicated here, my dear learners, that Manomay, Gyanmay, and Anandamay Koshas, they also broadly correspond to the emotional quotient, intelligent quotient, and social quotient, or what you call as spiritual quotient. So we talk about nowadays, apart from IQ, we talk about EQ and SQ. So we need to understand, my dear learners, that in Western philosophy we have emotional quotient, we have intelligent quotient, we have they call it social quotient, but we are giving it an acronym of spiritual quotient. We do call it SQ, but we have another annotation to it. We call it spiritual quotient. So we have to understand that Manomay, Gyanmay, Anandamay Koshas, they basically correspond to emotional quotient. If I am talking about Manomay Kosh, it is representing the emotional quotient of mind, whether I am emotionally attached to the goals and objectives of my business entity or not. When I say that I am talking about intelligent quotient, I am talking about Gyanmay Kosh, the kind of knowledge I have, the kind of expertise I am having, my human resources are having, and there we talk about intelligent quotient. And when we talk about spiritual quotient, it is basically representing the Anandamay Kosh, where you are in a situation where you are not only satisfied, but you feel delighted with your routine activities in your life. You feel contented. There is a situation where you have that containment. You are feeling containment inside you. So this was all about the Panchakosha theory, which is basically the first pillar of the foundations of Indian way of managing the business enterprises. The second one is theory of Purusharth. The theory of Purusharth basically takes a holistic perspective on balancing the four key objectives of life, which we consider as the ultimate goal of our life. They are called as Arth, Dharma, Kam, and Moksha, and it can also be called as Dharma, Arth, Kam, and Moksha. Or if I have to translate it, I would say the ethical, material, sensual, and spiritual dimensions. So when we talk about Arth, Dharma, Kam, and Moksha, we talk about ethical, material, sensual, and spiritual dimensions of the objective of our life. Because we, as a human being, we have some goals to achieve. And some of us, they may have material goals, some of us, they may have the goals which is basically spiritual only, some of us may have only ethical goals. But we need to understand that there are four objectives of life. And this theory of Purusharth, it suggests that a balanced approach for the holistic development at the individual level as well as of the society is needed. We need to be balanced. Without ethics, if I'm having any material success, it is not going to give me that level of containment which I actually deserve, which I truly deserve. Cause at the end of the day, I need to be happy, I need to feel satisfied with whatever I am doing, I need to have that containment, because we as a human being, we can feel that sense of containment, we can have that, God has blessed us by this sense that we can sense that whether I am satisfied or not, whether I am delighted or not. So the Panchakosha theory and Purusharth theory, these are the first two pillars of the Indian model. The third one is the theory of gunas, or what you call as the theory of merit, and it basically identifies three important merits, or what you call as gunas. We have which is named as Tamasic, Rajasic and Sattvic, and they are regarded as the three aspects of nature. According to the prominence of any of these three key merits or gunas, our nature is defined. The way I'll talk, the way I'll behave, the way I would work for the achievement of the ultimate goal of my organization and also my life, it depends largely on my characteristic, and my characteristic is basically defined on the basis of the prominence of gunas, whether the tamas is high or the rajasic is high or the sattvic is high in my own life. So tamasic is basically indicative of the selfish, being selfish, or having self-interest, or what you call as giving prominence to individualism. So if I am saying that out of these three aspects of nature, if somebody is having prominence of tamasic in his or her own nature, then of course you would find that person to be very selfish, the person to be very self-oriented, or having self-interest in all aspects of his or her life. The second one is Rajasic, which basically connotes the enlightened self-interest, that you feel enlightened, you behave like a king, you behave like a Raja, and there you feel that I'm not only talking about the self-interest, but I'm also talking about the society. I'm talking about the entire material achievement as well, along with the personal or the self-interest. But if I look at the Sattvic guna, it connotes the enlightened collective interest. Here we don't find any place for the self-interest, because in Rajasic also, whatever earnings you are making, that is for your self-interest. You want to be known as a king, you want to have that power in your hands, and that is why you are running for that material success. You are enlightened, you have that idea of achievement, you have that sense of achievement, you understand the importance of that achievement, but again it is self-oriented. There is some mix of tamasic into it. That is why we call it Rajasic, where you are enlightened, but the self-interest is there. But in Sattvic, you find the enlightened collective interest. You are enlightened, but you have your own collective interest. You don't look for your own self-interest, or you can call that the person is not selfish, the person is looking forward to the success of each and everyone, where we follow the concept of Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, that let every person be happy, be contented. That is something which is the motive, which is the characteristic there. And this theory is applicable at the individual and society as well as the level of society, and it has also been applied to the corporate level. You will be surprised to note that most of the corporate entities nowadays, they are knowingly or unknowingly following these important theories, and it offers a framework for transformation of work culture in any organization, from Tamasic to Sattvic. And there is only one objective. What is their goal? The goal is to improve the quality of work life. Nowadays we talk about work-life balances. Work-life imbalances are very much prominent, and the prominence is increasing because of the only fact, cause there is a prominence of tamasic and rajasic into your nature, and somehow sattvic is missing, the ethical aspect is missing. You don't talk about the collective success, you don't feel contented when you are having when the credit of success is given to the entire team. You want yourself to be identified as the leader, you want yourself to get the recognition for the work, and that is the point where the clashes, the conflict starts. So if we look at these three important theories which I have explained to you, my dear learners, where we talk about Panchkoshas theory, we talk about Purushar theory, we talk about theory of Gunas, these are basically the strong pillars of Indian school of management. If we really wish to understand Indian ethos in management, understanding of these three theories is very important. The Panch Kosha itself is saying that you start from Annamaya Kosh and reach to, your journey is starting from Annamaya Kosh, which is at the very basic level, and you have to reach to your destination, and destination is Anandamaya Kosh, where you are at the top. And it starts from if you consider human body to be a point for that, it starts from the bottom and it goes to the top. Somewhere above your head you find the Anandamaya Kosh, and you find that aura into the personality where you feel that yes, I am very much contented, I am satisfied, I need not to run after the material success, because material success is already there, your self development is done, and now you talk about the collective success, you talk about the collective interest, you talk about the group, you talk about considering organization as a family. And if you follow these theories into your business operations, then of course you can offer a work culture where there is no clash of quality of work life. So by combining these three theories, what I am willing to put in front of you here is, my dear learners, that if we combine the three theories, we get a general theory of development, wherein individuals, society, organizations, they are basically driven by eternal human values, and a balanced approach is taken towards material and spiritual development of individuals and society. So if we are having the balanced development, the balanced approach towards material and spiritual development of individual and society, if we follow that, then of course the nation is going to sustain for long, and we can have our material success, and along with that we can ensure that we are spiritually developed, we are spiritually contented also. So my dear learners, when we talk about the Indian ethos and their strong pillars, we need to discuss the Indianity also, the concept of Indianity. Because at times we say that we Indians believe in making profits by ethical ways and means. So the expression, the Indian ethos, it has different meaning for different individuals. And this is the reason why we need to define Indian ethos. It has become a difficult proposition for all the academicians to define that what is Indian ethos, because the moment we say Indian ethos, there are different definitions. But when I was going through the different definitions available, the literature available, I could find one very interesting functional formula to it in one of the articles, and it says that Indian ethos is basically the function of Indian traditions and modifications plus enrichment in traditions to suit the requirement of the changing times. So the first part is talking about the traditional values and not only values but also modifications into that. So over a period of time, whatever modifications have been done in those traditional values, that is already there. But along with that, the second aspect which is added to it is enrichment in traditions to suit the requirement of changing times. So we need to customize. Indian ethos is not very rigid. It is having that flexibility that according to your time, according to your need, according to the kind of invention, the innovation we are witnessing nowadays, we are having that freedom to enrich the traditions which can actually suitable for the requirements of changing times. So whatever model we are developing, whatever methodology we are developing, our Indian school of thought is not at all rigid towards that. It says that you can customize according to your requirement. but the essence of that need not to be compromised. The essence, the soul of this entire idea, this entire discourse need not to be discounted. It should not be compromised in any case, because the moment you start doing so, you may actually get distracted or diverted from your ultimate goal, and again you'll reach at the same point from where you started. So Indian understanding, if you really wish to understand Indian ethos, we need to first understand Indianities. So, and to understand Indianity, we have to first understand what are the core ideas of Indian ethos. And the core ideas of Indian ethos are unity in diversity. We talk about integrative synthesis, we talk about confluencism, we talk about world as a family, and we consider humans as spiritual beings. So these are the 5 core ideas, my dear learners, for Indian ethos, where we start from unity in diversity and we end up at humans as spiritual being. And they are basically known as the Panch Siddhants, the 5 principles of Indian ethos. If we talk about the unity in diversity, if we take for instance one first Siddhant, first principle, that is unity in diversity, and we can actually examine it, we can understand its relevance not only at individual level but also at social level, at the level of corporate entities, and eventually at the level of nation, and globally also you can look at it. If I am saying that we talk about unity in diversity, at individual level you have to basically understand, you have to define it like creating a tolerant mindset. When I am saying unity in diversity, which means I am basically tolerant to the different ideas. I am open to different ideas, to differing ideas, I would say. So at the level of a person as an individual, if I say that I belong to a country where the Siddhant, the first principle is unity in diversity, it is going to create a tolerant mindset. This is something which I am going to achieve out of this principle. If I really follow that, I would always be tolerant I will always have that tolerant mindset. I'll always be tolerant to differing ideas. I would never say that there is a zero tolerance to my ideas. Whatever I say, that is supposed to be accepted, and no other ideas are going to be even heard. Forget about discussing. That is not the Indian way of managing the business enterprise or even managing the life. If we take the same principle at social level, it is basically promoting pluralism. We don't believe in singularity. We are going to promote pluralism, where we are going to design a society, we are going to establish a society, we are going to construct a society where we are promoting pluralism. There is no place for individual self-interest only. We talk about collective interest. But the same principle, if we look from the perspective of corporate entity, it is going to help us in managing. We can manage anything or everything with this idea. Suppose my subordinate is giving me some idea, and that idea in any way is going to help or cut short my journey, or is going to be of immense help. I should not mind accepting that. Rather, I should appreciate that my subordinate got this idea, and with that idea we could brave that situation, we could face that problem which emerged suddenly. And if we look at the national level and at global level, it is basically the emotional integration of diversity. So we are basically integrating diversity emotionally. So this was one instance out of Panch Siddhantas, or what you call as 5 principles. The first principle I explained to you, unity in diversity. Now let us take up the second one, integrative synthesis, where we are talking about at individual level. If we take integrative synthesis, it is developing an mindset, integrative mindset. You are integrating your ideas with that of your subordinate. If I consider it at social level, it provides a basis for integrating different viewpoints. At corporate level, it is integrative indigenization direction. You are basically you are having that direction which is integrative in nature. And if you look at the national and global idea, we say that let noble thought come to us from all dimensions, which is basically nothing but ano bhadra krito yanto vishvata. So out of these 5 principles, my dear learners, I explained to you 2 principles from different perspectives, that is starting from individual, then to social, corporate, and global level. In the next lecture of mine, I'll be extending my discussion on these 5 key principles of Indian ethos. I hope you must have understood today's lecture of mine. Thank you so much.